I do now have the great honor to talk with a very inspiring woman. Her name is FLAVIA. She is the Chief Operating Officer at Ezzmoney. Moreover, she is, with regards to the magazine Women in FinTech, number 18 on the list of 100 women in FinTech across the African continent. That means she is very successful in a rather male-dominated industry. So FLAVIA, first of all, thank you for taking the time to give us this interview. And before we start talking about your impressive career, let's first of all talk about your employer in general. So what is Ezzmoney and what exactly are you doing?
Thank you very much, Niels, for that splendid introduction. Ezzmoney, we are a technology company dealing with both financial and non-financial services, targeting those at the bottom of the pyramid. We have been in existence for plus a decade. We are now regulated by Bank of Uganda. We hold 2 licenses, payment system provider and operator. We hold what we'd call a POS machine, which is embedded with a bouquet of products. For example, bill payments, bill collections, mobile money, agency banking. We also spread our rings in a number of countries. We're in Kenya, we're in Tanzania, we're in Malaysia, we're in Indonesia.
You work in FinTech, which is a rather male-dominated industry.
Yes.
So what inspired you to start a career in FinTech?
I thrive very well in a dynamic setting. It is not inspiring if it's not challenging for me. So it always has to be challenging. FinTech was the new thing on the block, if I may say. It is fresh. It is really dynamic. It is moving, it is interesting to be a part of. And it is one, because of the ambition that I have, I really wanted to be I want to be a part of the people who change lives. So that's why I prefer working in FinTech, because it's challenging. Yes.
What are some of the biggest challenges you face since you work in an industry which is male-dominated?
Bias and discrimination. Discrimination in the kind of work that they give women, in promotions, the way they're treated at their workplaces. People still have the outdated thinking of the historical way of women having to be in the background. They're not supposed to be at the forefront. They're not supposed to be able to face challenges. It's only the particular work is supposed to be done by a male, which is something that we have to overcome as women. And we have what we call imposter syndrome, where people feel like they don't belong. They create self-doubt as women. We feel like if we take on a challenge in a male-dominated industry, we'll not be heard, which is also one very important aspect to overcome in our lives. We need to be able to know that what a male can do, probably it's the same thing that a lady can do as well. Yeah. So we just need to believe in ourselves and know that we can do better. Women are very resilient. So if women are given a chance to be able to be at the forefront, they follow through their work. If you realize, okay, let me give an example of my workplace. At my workplace, we're 80% women and 20% men. And the delivery that women give, it's amazing, because they're able to do their work and finish it to the letter.
So you just mentioned some very interesting challenges.
Yes.
So can you now also explain us how did you overcome those challenges?
Having a very supportive environment, a culture that includes all women, it's inclusive, and being very intentional about the workplaces where we go in daily, because we spend most of the time at our workplaces. These areas have to be conducive, They have to be accommodative for the women. They have to be able to serve the purpose of both male and women without discrimination. So if you have a very supportive environment, and also having in mind work-life balance, because as women get to work, they also have to go back home and look after their own.
We live, of course, in a time where technology is changing quickly, fast, very fast.
Yes.
So how do you see technology changing the finance industry?
Oh, definitely the two have to intermarry. For example, if you look at what we are doing right now, digital transformation is one of the fast-moving areas in the industry. If you look at the banks, they're leveraging on our mobile phones to be able to enroll digital banking. And then let's talk about intelligence, artificial intelligence. There is information that will be able to be custom-made. It's designed and custom-made for the people out there. So finance and technology will definitely not work separately. They have to intertwine, they have to be together. And it's also very interesting to look at how the industry is moving. You see, it's moving fast, and it's interesting to know that at one point we'll not be able to move around with cash. We're going to be able to be exchanging e-money, so that people out there, finance and technology will definitely be one thing, and we'll be able to embrace it.
Okay.
Yes.
And what do you think, which skills are really very important for professionals who want to work in your industry?
I think data analysts.
Yeah.
You see, the fintech industries are seated on a wealth of consumer data. And we only need someone to be in the setup to be able to digest this information, for us to be able to understand it and pass it on out to the world. So data analysts are very important. And innovators and tech gurus, they need to be a part of the setting. In fact, I think the industry needs to have, you see, like a room for just innovators who are trying to think out for people in the world and what exactly do they need. Yes, we're innovating, but we have to innovate intentionally. We have to innovate for the consumers, for the end users. What exactly do they need? So definitely a skill for innovation and tech is needed in the industry.
Okay. Yeah. There are, of course, lots of changes in your industry. So,
Yes.
of course, it's incredibly important to stay up to date. So how do you stay up to date with the latest trends?
Through networking, we have fraternities like High People, FitSpa, who create a very conducive area for networking. But of course, aside that, you really have to keep up to date by knowing which conferences to attend, where are they globally, not just in your country. You have to grow yourself as well. Then of course learning, continuous learning, the 10,000-hour rule. Listen to podcasts and TED Talks. So, and we must be intentional about it. Definitely to have a mentor, someone who wakes you up, someone who keeps you alert and, you know, reminds you to stay your course. Yes.
Have you ever faced self-doubt in your career? And if so, how did you overcome it?
Life quandaries are part of the journey. Remember, you are your own biggest inner critic. So whatever you criticize yourself upon should be positive and not negative. We should be able to look back at those achievements that we have had. That should be enough to let you get up in the morning. We should be able to, you know, speak to ourselves, our inner self, and be able to get up and push ourselves for what is next, because we are missing out on what is going to happen next, the greatest thing that is just about to happen next in our careers.
What advice would you give to young, talented women who want to work in fintech?
It's a journey, and we must start it. Whether you're running or walking, whichever pace you decide to take, we must stay committed to be able to start the journey. We must stay consistent to finish the journey as well. And there is this famous quote that I really like, from Nelson Mandela, where he says, "There is no passion to be found playing small and settling for a life than the one you're capable of."
Let's, at the end of our interview, also talk about the future of your industry, of fintech.
Oh, okay.
So what do you see, or what do you consider as the most exciting opportunities for growth of your industry?
Digital transformation in itself is very exciting. Can you imagine just sitting at home and you're able to do everything on your gadget? You don't have to fight in the market. You don't have to flex around with anyone. I think it's incredible where we're heading. And it's like a tsunami just about to hit us. We just need to know and be very equipped for what is coming ahead of us. I think 2 years from now, 10 years from now, as people keep embracing and including others and getting to, you know, be very intentional about the people who are learning about the fintech industry. It's exciting and very revolutionary to look at what is going to happen in the future, you know, and to prepare for it. I feel like we need to be ready for what is coming.
Okay, then thank you very much for this interview, Flavia. And I wish you all the best for your upcoming projects and all the best for the industry as well.
Thank you very much, Niels, for having me on this program. And it was a great conversation with you.
It has been very inspiring to talk with Flavia, and I'm pretty sure her advice was indeed very useful for you. Among others, she said that she uses networking in order to stay up to date with the latest trends, but she also advised to young women who want to start a career in fintech to start the journey, to get it going, because as long as you don't start it, of course, you can't start a career in fintech. So thank you again for this inspiring interview, Flavia.
Thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be here.